Often, when you arrive for a test drive, you start thinking with horror about information. What can I tell you about the new car? After all, there are practically no changes there. Well, it could be a few decorative details. Now you see the new Kia Sportage in front of you, and I'm sure most owners of the current model did not expect such a surprise. This is a completely different car. It looks avant-garde. This is a new and original design. It looks expensive, but, small spoiler, I don't think the price will change much. The front of the car is a separate topic for discussion, and the reason for this new LED optics, in these boomerangs and radiator grills. The radiator grille is somewhat similar to that installed on the Hyundai Tucson, but in general, the front end makes the car very avant-garde, as I already mentioned. Do I have any comments? Yes, friends, there are. When these cars arrive in Ukraine, it is most likely that an additional mesh is put inside there. Because Ukrainian roads are not so clean and safe to leave such large gaps in order to risk their brand new radiator. I also have a lot to tell about the new products in the Kia salon. The first thing you'll see is a huge instrument panel or a huge multimedia system, although in reality it's just two large monitors that are connected into one system. As far as I understand, the size of each of the monitors is 12 3/10 inch. This is all very well connected, since I do not see any seams, while these monitors have a curved shape. That is, there is a feeling that we have a small ellipse, and not like in a Mercedes, there are two monitors installed horizontally. Kia has always had good computer graphics. This is definitely better than the Japanese, and very similar to Audi standards, for example, but a little simpler. In addition to these two huge gorgeous color monitors with a touchscreen on the center console, and just below you will see the climate control unit. Our hybrid version is equipped with 3-zone climate control. This means that adjustments can also be made for the rear passengers. Here, this climate control unit is one solid touch button. But the Koreans made sure that the main adjustments were nevertheless made out as manipulators so that you could easily adjust the setting to the desired temperature, or you could, for example, instantly turn off the sound of the multimedia system. This is absolutely reasonable and correct. Another smart solution, as I think, is the usual, not touch-sensitive buttons that you can find on the multi-function steering wheel. In fact, this is all. This is one continuous monitor, and you will understand now. What are the benefits for the driver, and how does it make the interior more concise, and how does it reduce the number of buttons? We turn on and we have activated climate control. Then we press the second button and we get control of our multimedia system. It is very convenient, beautiful and laconic. But this is only the beginning of a story about the design and engineering developments inside the car. Look at air ducts. These are design ideas. You also look at the center console, which separates the driver and passenger, is another vehicle control unit. The classic gearshift knob has disappeared. Instead we have a joystick washer for gear shifting. This joystick washer of gear shifting reminds me of the joystick washer of gear shifting in Jaguar cars. The only difference is that when you start the car, it does not leave the center console. You can immediately put your hand on it and feel that this is another manipulator. You can engage the transmission by selecting the mode, neutral, drive and reverse. And the parking button is located at the top. A little further there is one more manipulator. These are driving switching modes. We have Eco Sports and we also have off-road driving modes. This is snow, which is very useful to us today, this is sand and this is mud. Why do we have such regimes? Well, first of all, we have an all-wheel drive system. And, secondly, we have electrically adjustable shock absorbers installed here, but I will talk about this a little later. Because we are still talking about the design and ergonomics of the car interior. Next to the shift paddle joystick, you can also see the options for turning on the heating. We have heated seats. We have seat ventilation and we have a heated steering wheel. Although, of course, for the Kia brand, steering wheel heating is their calling card. To the shame of the Japanese, they will soon be installing a heated steering wheel in their models, even on scooters. The Japanese have recently started implementing this option. For a long time they told us that steering wheel heating is so expensive that we are not ready to voluntarily install it for you in our crossovers. You buy a Lexus and it has a heated steering wheel. Kia ain't that greedy, so even in the Picanto you're guaranteed to get that heated steering wheel. Is there a heated rear seat? Yes, there is also. Using our tests as an example, you can clearly see how often the lead. Considering the packaging, it doesn't surprise me at all that we have a start-stop. We have a large induction charger. That is, not only can you install small phones here, but Samsung on this induction charger to charge it. In addition, there is a Type-C connector and there is a regular USB connector. The ceiling is black and there is a recess for the head, so even a tall driver can easily fit here. The backlight is very similar to a diode one, although the light here is so warm that it may not be diodes. No, though. I think that in 2021, which is now ending and 2022 will come, there will be no talk of any non-diode backlights inside cars, even in Chinese cars. Rather, in the beginning it will be in Chinese cars, and in Korean cars later. Is there something that annoys me from the beginning about the Kia Sportage? Yes. The first complaint is the high gloss finish on the center console. It looks very pretty. It definitely helps to sell cars in a car dealership. But, when you operate your car, then you remember that you will need 2 wipes at once, one wet, and the second flannel, in order to wipe it all off. Fingerprints will be visible. Question number 2. We have a very beautiful joystick washer for gear shifting. Today I will definitely try to shoot you a video about how the salon looks like at night and what kind of lights are used here. But I want to tell you not about the backlights, but about the fact that with this gearbox we can turn on drive mode, we can turn on neutral, we can reverse gear and even parking. However, the electric parking brake is not located on this center console. The electric parking brake is located on the left-hand side of the dashboard, although obviously there is room for that here. I don't see any logic here. I need to search for the location where this button is located. Yes, of course, when you buy a car, you will know your Kia and that this is where the electric parking brake is located. But, it is unambiguous and logical that it is located where the controls and shifting of an automatic transmission are located. This is reasonable and it is logical. I would look for it here. And there is one more small note. And this is not a complaint, because people are very fond of a high waist. Clients often buy crossovers because they sit high. And that is exactly the fit you get when you buy the Kia Sportage. But for me, the difference in sensations is very important. Are you sitting in the car or are you sitting on top of the car? I think that drivers who have a certain driving experience understand what I'm talking about. When I get into the Kia Sportage, I get the impression that I'm getting on a horse, I'm in the saddle, I'm on top of the car, I'm not inside the car. Kia ain't trying to fit me like a replica of a sports car. I have a feeling that I am not driving the car from the inside. No, I feel like a rider. But at the same time, I repeat once again, there is nothing wrong with that. This is such a specificity, such a manner and such a philosophy of creating a car for both Kia and Honda, or rather Hyundai. Because as soon as I got into the Kia Sportage, I immediately thought that just recently I had already sat like this, and of course I remembered Tucson. The second time I remembered about Tucson, when I turned on the turn signal like this. I saw that we have cameras that duplicate blind spots for you. This is a very handy feature, and even now, when it snows, these cameras look very useful and informative and certainly looks very modern. Kia brand cars apart from all others. I remembered this one function from Honda. When you turn on the turn signal to the right, then your monitor lights up here and you see information from the camera, which is installed on the right mirror. But here the cameras are installed on both mirrors and work very well and very efficiently. Our test drive takes place in 2 locations at once. The first one started in Munich, Germany, and it all ends in the Arctic Circle, where we test our cars in the most severe conditions. And right now I'm deceiving you, because this is the same outskirts of Munich. The calendar winter in Kiev has just begun. And, yes, dear organizers, that is why Pavel Kaschuk is running there. And I would like to remind you, why did test drives take place in Spain and Portugal in winter? Mary Poppins, you can come into the frame, please. By the way, Pavel promised that as soon as we start filming videos, we will see them only at 7 p.m., and they coffee point, where sandwiches are served, before us. An hour earlier, huh? Well done. Kia fast-paced. Kia 5th generation Kia looks like a sporty and aggressive car, while it has become larger, wider by 1 cm, longer by 3 cm and higher by 1 cm. The developers claim that there is also more free space in the cabin for the arms, head and shoulders. The second row of seats is our concert landing. This means that I am sitting slightly above the front passenger and driver. I have an armrest. I have heated seats and the heating is adjustable. There are 2 modes here. We also provide 3-zone climate control GT line. This is the adjustment of my climate, which helps me to be comfortable in the second row of seats. You will notice that here we have special hooks for things and here we have Type-C. This is a very unusual arrangement of these very connectors. Because this is certainly much more convenient than reaching down and looking for these connectors there. I'm not talking about the fact that down there they get clogged with dirt and dust much earlier than here. When you look at me now, you want to ask me a question. Listen, Raul, you tell everything so well, why are you practically resting your head against the ceiling? Yes, this is an interesting question, but the answer is hidden, surprisingly, in the arrangement of the rear seat backs. Because we can adjust these backs. Now the seat backs are in the most upright position and it would be uncomfortable for me to ride in a car like that. But thank God, Kia has thought about it. And these very car seats are proof of this. For some reason I instinctively reached up, I do not know why, I need to remember which car I tested the last time. We assemble the armrest, press a special lever, and, behold, now I am already sitting in the car, as if it were a business classer. And you will notice that the armrest is now immediately set at the correct height. This is convenient, despite the fact that here they installed hard plastic behind the driver and passenger seats. My knees do not rest against this plastic and no industrial injuries occur. Take a look at these designer doorknobs. It is very convenient and in fact very unusual and non-trivial. Well, and of course I can't help but tell you about these headrests. It doesn't just look good, it's actually functional. It not only protects your neck, it also helps you live a normal and comfortable life. Here, we take the jacket, and this is how we can hang it. And this means that you no longer need to buy these awful steel hooks and hangers from some auto shop that you can break your head against during an accident. By the way, Kia manufactures a safe car that improves all safety systems from year to year. One of these is a medium airbag for rear passengers in the event of an accident. Here this pillow will shoot and you will not hit your head on your head. and you will save your life and the remnants of your brains. We'll see the trunk. This is a shelf. This is clear. The car has gotten bigger, and you already know about that. The trunk of the previous, 4th generation, KIA Sportage was 503 liters, and now it is 591 liters. This means that the luggage compartment has increased by 88 liters. If we unfold the backs of the rear seats, and this is done by simply pressing these levers, we get 1,780 liters. We have this cool shelf here. So what can you do about it? This is a very common question we ask ourselves. Because it interferes with loading a bulky item here, and then you need to run somewhere to hide everything unnecessary in the cabin. But in this case, the Koreans took care of this. Probably, there were letters from angry users. So we remove this beautiful and elegant shelf and raise the raised floor. Here, under the raised floor, there should probably still be a spare wheel, but it is not there, because we are in Europe. Therefore, we have excellent sound insulation. And now the respected operator will show that if we remove the excellent noise insulation, then there is a place where you can screw at least an emergency wheel. We understand that there will be a repair kit here in Europe. Now I will try to put this tab back in order to test our assumptions. I put the shelf back in place. You will notice how well the soundproofing of the shelf is done. Nothing should rattle and there should be a minimum of noise from there, from under the floor. And don't forget that this shelf holds a maximum of 60 kilograms. Attention to detail is when you stick fabric on the edges of a plastic shelf so that one plastic doesn't break the other plastic in your luggage compartment. This time I will definitely not forget to tell you about the noise insulation in the KIA Sportage for one simple reason: the Koreans did a great job on it. We seem to have armor-piercing glass, and besides, the aerodynamics of the car has improved here. This is an indicator of 031. So, this figure is better than that of the Toyota RAV4 and not worse than that of the Honda CR-V. At the same time, if we talk about vibrations, then Kia absolutely authoritatively declares that they have measured everything and their vibrations are less than that of the Volkswagen Tiguan. What does it feel like? And it feels really quiet in the car. There is no engine noise, no noise from under the floor, no noise from either the front or rear arches. At the same time, I do not see double glasses here, but these glasses do not make noise and you do not hear the wind. In general, if earlier there were claims to the KIA Sportage, because the car had poor sound insulation, now there are absolutely no such complaints. Our hybrid works according to the classic scheme. We have an electric motor. We have an internal combustion engine. The internal combustion engine works like a generator. It recharges our battery, and this battery powers the electric motor. There is also a special controller that controls the motors and controls the thrust. And we also have a 4-wheel drive system and a 6-speed automatic transmission. Here, 4-wheel drive, classic plug-in wheels. If the wheels start to slip, then the viscous coupling is triggered and everything starts to work according to special algorithms. Nothing new, this is a well-proven and straightforward hybrid car circuit. In this hybrid, a small battery is installed 1 43/100 of a kilowatt per hour, so you will not be able to drive very much using only electric traction, or rather quite a bit. If it is 1 kilometer, then it will already be cool. But, of course, this system was originally developed not in order for you to save fuel as much as possible, but in order to reduce emissions into the atmosphere. But the economy will also be, and this hybrid will also affect the acceleration dynamics. Because our electric motor here has a power of 60 horsepower, a total power of 230, 350 torque and acceleration to hundreds of 8 3/10 of a second, with all-wheel drive on front-wheel drive it will be faster 8 seconds. How true is this? We checked. DriftBox showed that on all-wheel drive and with the operator on board, the car accelerates in 8 6/10 of a second. So, obviously, 8 3/10 of a second is the real truth. Well, the result is 8 6/10 of a second. Naturally, the plug-in hybrid has a larger battery, and that car will travel at least 45 to 50 kilometers. But a plug-in hybrid for our latitudes is a rather distant future. I think this will not happen until late 2022 or early 2023. Fuel consumption, in the technical documentation, the Kia company very laconically indicates these data. It is 6 2/10 of a liter in the combined cycle. Yes, it is indeed possible. I even got 5 7/10 of a liter at a speed of 100 km per hour. But when we left the autobahn, it turned out at once 10 5/10 of a liter. So it still depends not only on the motor, drive system, hybrid, not hybrid, but first of all, on the manner of your driving. The quieter you drive, the less fuel you use. Unfortunately, there are not many Korean engineers event. I understand them, they are busy playing Squid, but we are engaged in no less exciting activities. Here, right now I tested how to remotely start our Kia in order to show how it can park. And now for what I love Korean cars today. Perhaps you will not use it so often, but it is enough to flaunt in front of neighbors or a girlfriend several times in order to achieve the desired result, so that they show interest in you. They start to be proud of you and others start to envy you. Olivia, go ahead. This is the apocalypse now. Stop. Olivia, place. Well, so we shouldn't admire this. Of course, sooner or later, two drivers will appear who will try to park at the same time on these cars, and the third driver will move in vehicles without autonomous driving, and this will be a very interesting sight. Because there is some legal conflict. Who's to blame when two cars that autonomously park and bump into each other? Right. You are to blame because you have been driving this car remotely. Anyway, you control through the key fob, so be careful, but these technologies work. I have already said that the car has electro-adjustable shock absorbers. We also have a powerful computer unit installed here that calculates what kind of situation we have on the road and, depending on this, makes the shock absorbers harder or vice versa softer. For this reason, I cannot understand the following. Do we have a beam in the back or a multi-link suspension? Of course, when we talk about an all-wheel drive system, we are most likely talking about a multi-link suspension. The Europeans had complaints about the handling of the Kia Sportage. And in Ukraine there were no complaints. Because every time someone started a story about the fact that something was not pleasant about the Kia Sportage, then in the dealership there was a poster that read, €18,000 for a cool designer crossover with good motor and automatic or robotic transmission. And what kind of handling are you still asking here? You go and stand at the end of the line and then maybe we will sell you this Kia Sportage someday. But the European car market is highly respected by Koreans. The European market is very important Kia. Therefore, in the new generation, all previous shortcomings have been eliminated. I am currently driving a Kia Sportage. And this car can really drive fast and really enjoy the ride. At the same time, the suspension, obviously, on the German autobahns feels very comfortable and I have no complaints about the energy intensity. Perhaps something will change in Ukraine. But let's not forget that Jetline in Europe is the 18th or 19th car rims. And here, perhaps, everything will be a little simpler. Maybe Jetline will start with 16th or 17th car discs, and will end with 18th. For special people, of course, perhaps they will leave the 19th discs at once, because, energy intensity is good, and the appearance of a car is beautiful. Kia Sportage literally packed with various safety systems. There is a lot of electronics here, which means a lot of semiconductors. And this gradually brings us to the next topic. And what will we actually get on the Ukrainian market and when will it happen? Here is my prediction. Kia Sportage will appear in Ukraine in the first quarter of 2022. Of course, this is the end of the first quarter, this is February to March. What configurations, what motors and what versions of the car will we get? If for the European and world market we get gasoline engines, diesel engines, mild hybrid engines and plug-ins. And for Ukraine, at first, one, without an alternative 2-liter SmartStream. It is well known, it has proven itself well, and a 6-speed automatic transmission will work with it, and the drive will be front-wheel drive. There is still no information on orders, when we will receive the hybrids and when we will receive the plug-ins pack. Another news for residents of countries on the outskirts of Kiev and Rus. For you, Kia, or rather your dealerships, have chosen a completely different version for themselves, because today there are two variants of the 5th generation of this car. This is the Kia Sportage shortened version for Europe and an extended version for such as America or countries in which you need travel great distances, and people love a lot of space. So, you will get an extended version and it is not yet clear with which motors and in which trim levels. Car prices are a big question. For Ukraine, this issue is more or less clear today. The importer claims and solemnly promises that if the current generation of Kia Sportage costs between 18 and 24,000 euros, then the new generation will not cost 2 times more. You do not need to look at prices on European sites and you do not need to pass out when you see the price of 30, 35, 40 and 45,000 euros. When we talk about certain configurations for Ukraine, when we know a certain configuration for the Ukrainian market, then the price can also more or less be determined. I claim that the car is twice as good, and the price will rise by a maximum of 5 to 10%. That is, if the price was from 18 to 24,000 euros, then the price of this car will be from 20 to 26,000 euros. This is my forecast. But this is not based on hearsay or speculation, if you understand what I want to tell you. You've watched the 2 horsepower program. With you was Raoul and the 5th generation Kia Sportage. The car really surprised. The car really pleased me and it's very good that this car has become twice as good, but not twice as expensive. That's all. We will meet next week. And here, this is our Kia Sportage in the evening. We rarely shoot at night, and this is very wrong. Because the designers are working hard to make super lights and to show you how cool everything here will be when you drive your car in the evening.
Супер подсветки, чтобы показать вам, как все здесь будет круто, когда вы будете ехать на автомобиле вечером.
And here is the rear view camera. Here's your favorite Kia Sportage and 360-degree view.